Imagine flying straight into the eye of a hurricane. Winds over 150 miles an hour, rain lashing from every direction. And the plane that you're in is being tossed around like a leaf. But for the men and women of the 53rd Weather Reconnaissance Squadron, the Hurricane Hunters, this is just another mission. Today we're going to go behind the scenes of these flights, into the science, the history, and the human stories of people who chase some of the world's most dangerous weather. Welcome back to AeroExploration. My name is Jim, and we're going to deep dive into the 53rd Weather Reconnaissance Squadron, the Hurricane Hunters of the U.S. Air Force. Now, for me, this is a really fun story to talk about because growing up, I really loved military aviation, and I loved weather, and this was a perfect combination of things for me. So, to deep dive this story is going to be really fun. This story begins long before modern satellites and forecasting. In September 1935, the United States Weather Bureau began using reports from ships at sea to track hurricanes. But those reports were often incomplete. After a destructive Labor Day hurricane, Captain Leonard Povey, flying a Curtiss biplane with the Cuban Army Air Corps, volunteered to locate a storm near the Florida Keys. While he couldn't penetrate it, his observations helped pioneer the concept of aerial weather reconnaissance. So we fast forward to 1943. During World War II, hurricane reconnaissance would take a daring leap. So, on July 27, 1943, while sitting in a bar enjoying some beverages, U.S. Army Air Forces pilot Lieutenant Colonel Joseph Duckworth would claim that he could fly a trainer aircraft straight into the eye of a hurricane. He would go on to fly his single-engine T-6 Texan trainer into the eye of a hurricane near Houston, Texas. He would return safely and then make a second flight, recording crucial meteorological data. This act, originally a bet with his British RAF trainees, proved that storm-penetrating flights were feasible. And it's a true aviation milestone. Just weeks later, B-25 bombers from Trinidad flew the first weather recon missions into a hurricane in 1943, plotting in-flight observations and relating them to bases in Puerto Rico. These early flights then set the stage for the 53rd Weather Reconnaissance Squadron. So the squadron was officially activated on August 7, 1944, at an Army airfield in Maine. It was commissioned as the 3rd Weather Reconnaissance Squadron, and originally they would fly the B-25s along ferry routes between North America and Europe. They would track weather patterns critical to Allied operations. In 1945, after being redesignated the 53rd Weather Reconnaissance Squadron, they would earn the nickname the Hurricane Hunters. By 1947, crews penetrated Hurricane Love near Bermuda at medium altitudes, demonstrating that tropical storm reconnaissance could be conducted at lower levels. Over the next decade, the 53rd moved between New Hampshire, Florida, Bermuda, England, Saudi Arabia, and Georgia. In 1965, they began flying the new Lockheed WC-130s, and the squadron conducted the first hurricane penetrations with that aircraft, with Hurricane Betsy flying from Puerto Rico. So today, the 53rd flies 10 Lockheed WC-130J Super Hercules, aircraft that are each equipped with specialized meteorological equipment. Each aircraft carries a 5-person crew, including the pilot, a co-pilot, combat systems officer, aerial reconnaissance weather officer, and a weather loadmaster / drop zone operator. A second loadmaster can join the crew when it's needed. The weather reconnaissance officer acts as a flight director inside the storm, and they coordinate the aircraft's path while monitoring wind, pressure, and radar data. So how do these missions work? Well, when the National Hurricane Center detects a potential tropical cyclone, the 53rd Weather Reconnaissance Squadron is tasked with investigative flights. They'll fly these flights lower level at 500 to 1,500 feet above the ocean. Crews will measure wind rotation by dropping devices by parachute out of the back of the plane called drop zones. This instrument will send back data on pressure, humidity, temperature, and wind. Once the system is shown as a closed circulation, they perform a series of what's called fixed missions, mapping the storms every 3 to 6 hours. For major hurricanes, which are Category 3 and higher, they'll enter the storm at approximately 10,000 feet. The crew then penetrates the eye wall multiple times per mission from various points, each time deploying drop zones into the eye to measure the lower surface pressure and maximum sustained winds. These drops allow them to see what's happening at the surface and information the satellite just can't capture. While satellite can see the storms from above, they can't measure wind speeds and interior pressure accurately. So the hurricane hunters bridge this critical gap. All the data that they receive is transmitted in real time to the National Hurricane Center. This information is then used to guide forecasts and warnings for millions of people along the Atlantic and Gulf coasts. So think of the WC-130 as a mobile weather lab. It can see winds, measure pressures, track rain rates, and even detect ocean temperature changes. All this while flying directly into the storm. Now, as you might imagine, the work of a hurricane hunter is not without some personal risk. In 1953, a WB-29 returning to Bermuda suffered a catastrophic engine failure. The propeller separated and caused a fire, killing 7 of the 10 crew members. Crews will also face typhoons, downdrafts, heavy turbulence, which will challenge themselves in the aircraft. Yet their advancements in training and technology have mitigated a lot of these risks while enabling more precise data collection. And to be in the proximity to hunt these hurricanes means they have to be stationed in areas that could be impacted by them. No greater example of this than in 2005 with Hurricane Katrina, which devastated the Gulf Coast.
I was really uptight. I was really stressed out because I had been through multiple hurricanes.
They have made desperate calls to 911 asking for help, asking for rescue. But
Andrew in Louisiana I went to college there when it came across Florida in '92. Ivan in Florida. So I've been there many times. So I was very uptight.
He saw sailboats sailing alone up city streets.
My wife's saying, I don't know, what the problem is. She goes, honey, it's a big town, Biloxi. We're going to get power. We're going to have gasoline. I'm like, no. You don't understand. This is going to be bad.
The 53rd's home station, Keesler Air Force Base, was heavily damaged. Nearly a third of the wing's members lost their homes and suffered major damage. In the meantime, the hurricane hunters will be displaced, but they continue to operate out of Dobbins Air Force Base near Atlanta. Despite the uncertainty of what they might go home to, they continued every weather recon mission without missing a beat. This human resilience, with families uprooted, aircraft deployed elsewhere, underscores the dedication of this group. But the 53rd aren't the only hurricane hunters out there. They will work hand in hand with the National Hurricane Center and NOAA's Hurricane Hunters, which operate 2 Lockheed WP-3D Orions, nicknamed Kermit and Miss Piggy, and a Gulfstream jet for high-altitude data collection. While NOAA focuses on research and operational missions, the 53rd concentrates on real-time hurricane reconnaissance that directly informs the National Hurricane Center's forecasts. From daring flights in tiny trainers in the 40s to advanced modern WC-130Js today, the hurricane hunters have pushed the boundaries of aviation, meteorology, and human courage. Their work blends science, skill, and dedication to protect millions from nature's fury. If you found this journey into the hurricane hunters fascinating just like I do, please like, subscribe, and leave a comment below. Would you have the courage to fly into a hurricane? And what aspect of hurricane reconnaissance amazes you the most? Let us know down in the comments, and you could spark the next conversation about these incredible missions. Thanks so much for joining me on this episode of AeroExploration, and we'll see you next time.